No, it's really cool, I think, because I think it's not on paper. I think what's lovely about this story is on paper, when you look back on the first 3 seasons, that's not the love story you wouldn't imagine someone like Benedict to sort of go through. But I mean, there are little elements of it. Like, I think he's funny because I think in some ways he's very sort of like very much laid back, which doesn't necessarily fit the whole sort of like love at first sight sort of trope maybe. But there are little clues that he does have that romantic streak. But I think it's lovely because it's very true of how love works, I guess. Like, it just, like it just happens, as in like it's just where it falls, and it just so happens that that's his story. So I think it's nice because it's a story that both does suit a part of him, but I think it is also a story that really challenges him and actually puts in relief all his flaws and all his cracks as well as a character, I think. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the pressure was, I think I put probably extra pressure on myself as well, but then, but it's such a gift to be able to come into a show that is so successful and has such a fan base. So it really has just been such a magical journey. And yeah, I think I knew that the fans they're very passionate about the couples that they love. And so I really wanted to do justice to Sophie, but I had to kind of put that aside and just make sure I focused on the work and just hoped that doing the best that I can was enough for the fans.
Yeah, I mean, I think what's lovely about a character generally is that all sorts of people can read themselves into it. Like, it's certainly not my job to tell people whose experience he represents. I think he's an individual character. And I think a lot of people will be able to see that. And I think you're right. I think it's really refreshing to see a male character not worry about sex. Like, I think, and I'm sure it's cultural as well as innate. I don't really know the answer to that. I'm not a psychologist, but I feel like a lot of the male sexual experience tends to be portrayed as very rigid and very boxy, and it's like you're either this or that. And so to let him exist in a world where actually anything goes, and it doesn't seem to sort of really stress him out or affect his sense of himself, I think is really refreshing to watch. And I think, it's just nice to see a different version of that story, I guess. Yeah. Well, it's sort of lovely to be in a show that can lift, reality is getting more and more complicated, and so you can see why complicated being a very mild term. But it's nice to be in a show that's sort of about make-believe, a little bit of hope and a little bit of magic, because I think we all need that. And I think there's a real thirst for just a bit of make-believe and a bit of lightness.
I think I'm quoting Bad Bunny now here, but
that's very, very useful.
But he did say the only way to fight hate is through love, and I think we need more of it in our lives. And I think that's what Bridgerton does so well, is that it does uplift people and remind people that actually through connection and through community, actually we're stronger together. So I think that's. And I love that Bridgerton's able to do that and also give people an escapism, I think, when a world is quite divisive right now, but just to remind people that we need to be kinder to each other as well.
It's acting at its best, isn't it? As in, like, I think the reason why you want to act is you want to communicate and you want to remind people that we're not all that different and we can talk to each other.
Yeah.
I think that's literally the best part, that's the most meaningful part for me anyway of the job of acting. Yeah. Yes.
They'll be very satisfied.
Yeah. I think it's very, it's been a season that's been very faithful to the book, actually, I think, but also stretched it, and there are lots of surprises as well. So, I hope so. I hope they do. Yeah.
I agree.
We don't know.
I'm gonna say Footman John, and he's not a Bridgerton sibling.
I think I'm interested in all of them. I think,
Great answer.
But it's true. You look at all the siblings.
Lady in Waiting. I'm interested in if we're going to get a dog.
Yeah, there's all sorts. But no, they're all. I think the show does such a good job of honouring each sibling. So
and it's going to tell a beautiful story, a new story, whatever character is next. So.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.